ever noticed how kids can spend hours playing with dirt, water and sticks, completely absorbed and utterly delighted? Meanwhile, we adults spend thousands on entertainment and gadgets and often still feel bored. Today, we're diving into the magic of messy play through the story of my kids' mud kitchen and what it taught me about the joy of embracing imperfection, mess, and pure creative freedom. Hi, I'm Danielle Colley, and I'm here to help you to create a life that actually feels good to live. When my kids were little and I was home all day with them, I needed something cheap, easy, and entertaining to engage them. Enter the mud kitchen. It wasn't fancy, it was just a hodgepodge of wooden crates painted forest green and egg yellow and equipped with decommissioned muffin trays, a jug, cake tins, and wooden spoons. I'll be honest, I'm not naturally drawn to messy play. Right? As a recovering perfectionist, I preferred activities that don't require washing everything or potentially getting threadworm from all the dirt under your nails, But watching my children lose themselves in the simple joy of mixing mud, water and leaves into cakes and soups, it awakened something in me that I had forgotten. What struck me was their complete absorption in the process with zero concern for the outcome. They weren't creating to impress anyone. They weren't worried about whether their mud pies were Pinterest-worthy. They were simply playing for the pure joy of playing. And in that freedom, they found a kind of happiness that many adults have forgotten how to access. That mud kitchen taught me something meaningful about adult play. We become really concerned with doing things right. Am I right? We approach hobbies like another job to master. We take classes by the kit, watch the tutorials, and stress out about our progress. We turn play into work, right? Dr. Peter Gray, a professor at Boston College and author of Free to Learn, has studied the decline of play in our society. His research shows that the most beneficial form of play is what he calls free play, the activity that is self-chosen, self-directed, and undertaken for its own sake, not to achieve some external goal. Think about it though. When was the last time you did something just for the joy of it, with no expectation of doing it well? When did you last allow yourself to be gloriously, unabashedly bad at something just for the fun of trying? How do you feel about being a novice, or even totally sucking at something new? For me, embracing the mud kitchen mentality meant letting go of perfectionism and just rediscovering the joy of process over outcome. It meant accepting that dirt would be under my nails and that clothes would get stained and the end result didn't matter nearly as much as the joy of creation. So how do we bring this mud kitchen energy into our adult lives? It starts with giving ourselves permission to be beginners, to make messes and to try things without needing to excel at them. Maybe it is finger painting or painting with your non-dominant hand without worrying about technique. Perhaps it's singing loudly in the car without concern for hitting the right notes. You could even try crack a harmony and just let go of the judgment if you miss it by a mile. It could be trying a new recipe and just enjoying the process, even if the result sucks and your kids refuse to eat it. But that's what happens in my house. In her research on play, Dr. Brené Brown found that play is also correlated with resilience. People who make time for creativity, curiosity, and play are better able to bounce back from hardship and disappointment. In other words, play doesn't just make life more enjoyable, it makes us stronger. And this is why I encourage my clients to identify their own version of the mud kitchen, that space where they can experiment without judgment, create without pressure, and reconnect to the simple joy of making a beautiful mess. In our next video, we'll explore the concept of flow, that magical state when you are so absorbed in an activity that time just seems to disappear. We'll discover how finding your flow can be one of the most powerful forms of play for adults. Remember, embracing mess isn't just about getting dirty. It's about freeing yourself from the constraints of perfectionism and rediscovering the joy of creation for its own sake. Be your own friend and give yourself permission to play imperfectly. Sometimes the most beautiful experiences come from the messiest beginnings.